evening and happy weekend. How are we doing today? Hope we're good. Hope we're well. Hope our weekend is going fine. And most of us started work this week. How has it been for you? How has resumption been for you? How has getting back to work been for you? Some other people have just been saying, they wish the holiday can be extended, while others are like, they are very excited to get back to work, while some others are like, okay, we just have to do this. I mean, we have to pay bills, so let's get back to work. So, how has it been for you? Me, it has been kind of a mixture of both. I'm excited to get back to work on the other end. I'm like, I wish it could just stay a little bit, to be honest. I wish it, I wish the holiday could just stay a little bit, but then on the other end, I'm excited to get back to work and I mean to serve each and every one of you. But the great thing and the great part of it is, while we're on holiday, I was still coming live to make sure that you don't make any mistake while you're buying real estate here in Abuja. So yeah, today we're going to be discussing something very interesting, something very educating, something informative, something that can guide you during your property acquisition process right here in Abuja. So you know how you're watching a movie, you're seeing a movie, and then you're with someone that has not seen the movie. And the person is like, oh my God, why did this person die? Oh my God. All those stuff. And you're just watching. You're like, calm down, calm down. It's not as you think, it's not as it appears. Do you understand? You know how it is. That's how I see. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you, Zilens. I see you. So you know how you watch this person screaming and like the person is angry at the entire thing going on, and you've seen what's going to happen at the end. You're just like, calm down, don't worry, don't worry. And then the person will start tearing up. And I'm like, it's not that deep. Don't worry, don't cry. That is how, when I'm watching people that wants to buy property in Abuja, just, I like the property, it's this, it's that, it's this, and they want to go ahead and pay. I'm like, I can see the end from this beginning. You better calm down. You better calm down. And I know I cannot get to every single person that wants to buy a property all together at once. So that's why, instead of complaining, I've said this over and over again, that one of the reasons why I come live, I show up here, is because instead of thinking and worrying my head up about people that come to complain about how they were scammed, how their money was taken from them and they did not get any property, how they got a property and it was somewhere else, how they got a property and it's there but they have a little court case, sprinkle of court case on it. I'm tired of listening to those things. And instead of just complaining about how people are not listening to what's going on, they're not giving themselves personal knowledge on why they are supposed to invest or what they are investing in, I took out the time to always make these videos to teach, educate, and help you make informed real estate decision. All right. So that is why today I'm going to be sharing with you what I personally do before I allow a client to buy a property. These things I do. These are the things I check before I give a client a property to buy. Like, okay, I've checked this property. You can go ahead and you can go and buy it. However, do your own due diligence. I always say it, if I've done my due diligence, you should do your own due diligence. Not because I don't trust the due diligence I did, but because I want you to have like more like a two-factor authentication, right? A lawyer that will sit with you and with you. But so you don't say that Abby said, your lawyer would also check the legal side and be sure that you're safe from this end and from this end. Trust me, I want the best for you, but I'll be selfish to tell you that you should not do your due diligence. Except, I mean, there are clients that have bought from me over time that always say, no worry, Abby, if it's you, I trust it. There are clients like that. But if you're buying from me from the first time and you have so many questions because of the scam, because most of the people that always reach out are people that has been scammed. And it's so sad. So sad. So if I hear you've been scammed, I always make sure that you do your due diligence on your own end, just so that you have a two-factor authentication on this entire process of acquisition of your property. So yes, the first thing here I check out before I allow my clients to purchase a property is the Land Use Act. The land use, okay, Land Use Act has entered my head. The land use of the property, the land use and the zoning law. Land use and zoning law of the property. Now, when you talk about land use, so I'm talking particularly about Abuja properties. Do you know why? Because the way Abuja administration operates is very different from how every other one operates, right? The way land acquisition process is done here is different from how it is done in other places. So that is why I'm putting a lot of time to teach you on how to do it, to go about it in Abuja. People get scammed a lot in Abuja. Do you know why? Because everywhere is organized, so they feel like, there's a proper way these things are done here, so this person selling to me knows what he's doing. No, many are mad, few are roaming. Not everybody knows what they are doing. The fact that somebody is wearing a suit and putting out stuff does not mean that they know what they are doing, or they've done the thing they're supposed to do. You see, the real estate is one of the most, if you do not educate yourself properly on how this works, on what you're investing in, you'll be so scammed and you hate it so much. You hate it with all your life. In fact, if your brother or your sibling or your family member is doing real estate, you might as well even tell them to quit doing real estate, that you feel like they're all scammers because of your one bad personal experience. So I know what I'm saying when I'm telling you that you need to check and check again. Okay? So the land use and zoning laws in Abuja is very important. I check this by helping you know that, okay, this particular place you're buying, is it mass housing or is it the normal one? Is it an estate that you can build different things on it? You can build, whether it's a duplex, you can decide to build block or flat, you can do. And I'm going to ask you, if you, Sugar, welcome to my live video, Sugar. My sugar is here. So I'm going to ask you what you want to use the property for. So I would know the zoning law that applies to the location that you want to buy from. So let's say you want to buy in a particular location where the zoning law there, or where the land use in that place is mass housing. That means you can build anything you want there. And you're like one of my clients that would say, I don't want a lot of people. This my client stays abroad, so he just hates where we have a lot of people. He just hates where he has so many people in the estate. He wants where we have just all those small cute minimal estate. That's the kind of place he likes. So if you tell somebody like that to buy or build his property in a mass housing estate, you have not fulfilled his you have not aligned what his need is. You have not done what he likes, right? So I try to make sure that I know what you want and I align it with what the land use of a particular location you have told me you like. I make sure that it aligns very well. Okay, then the zoning law. There are particular areas that you cannot build some things. Same thing as the land use. There are some places you can't do residential. There are some other places you can't do commercial. There are some places that has been reserved for green area. So these things, imagine somebody selling a green area to you, telling you that this place, and you're seeing everywhere, you're like, okay, this place, they've told you that they want to do something here, and then you now go and check the document and you see that what that place is for is green area. That is going to be very, very crazy to think. Like this, now you have a land. It's not like the land you did not pay for it, or you did not do your diligence. It's just that now the problem is that the person you bought from is authentic, but they sold the land to you that you cannot do anything on. That means what you have is flowers or maybe parking lots they want to do there. And what you want to build is a residential building. But in Abuja, if that has already been designated for a green area, you cannot do anything there. So even if you start doing something there, they are going to come and warn you that that is not the right place to do that thing you're doing. And there's nothing you can do about it. Except the person that sold to you was maybe they were not aware, and then they are kind enough to rectify and then transfer it to somewhere else. But sometimes it's very slim to get people that will even get to do it. Some of them will just tell you that it was changed. They just give you silly excuses or silly things and tell you different things that you were not expecting. So it's important you understand the land use and zoning law. Land use and zoning law is something that is very important here in Abuja. You cannot build anything. You can't build what you like here. You have to follow what the master plan says. This place is meant for residential. This place is, in fact, if you've been on this live session more than 3 times, you will know I've been saying this thing over and over again. It's to show you how important it is. The master plan is so important. So important. And you might think that Abuja is so big that they will not know that you're doing something there. It will surprise you. We have DC, Department Control, what's DDC. We have department. They do all those. They come. Maybe let me give an example. They come to a particular location where you're building something. Let's say that they've approved a particular building plan for you, and you start building, right? And now they tell you this is where the fence is supposed to stop, where this one is supposed to be done, and then you now decide to go and do your own. They will send this to you. They will come and check if it aligns. If not, they'll tell you, no, this thing you're doing is already going more than what they agreed to. You have to take it down. And if you don't take it down when they ask you to, they will take it down by themselves. So that's why it looks like Abuja is strict. Their is development control, not department of development control. So you know, this a lot of short names and all of that. So yeah, so you know, they might tell, it might look like they are strict in the way they do things here, but it's because they want you to follow the master plan. People love this city because of how organized it looks. So if you don't follow how the master plan says it should be, then you are literally bridging what you're supposed to like follow through. You're bridging the actual plan, and then you're going to be caught out anyways, because I mean, you can't buy your way into it, or let's say even bribe your way into it and then tell them you give them some money and then they will now allow you to do what you want to do. No, you can't do that here. It's very different. So I make sure I check that the legal the land use and then the zoning law of a location before I allow my clients buy a particular land. Then the next thing is documents. The most important thing to me is that it is FCDA approved. Now, people just say FCDA approved, FCDA approved, FCDA approved. But one part they did not see is that, you know how people always say, I want C of O land. I want, I don't want this other one. See, more than the price of the land, you need to be sure that this property you're buying is FCDA approved. FCDA approved because, you know, like I always say, the Land Use Act of 1963 has already said that all land belongs to the government and is managed by the FCT minister, right? 1983. Yes, I think I'm mixing the dates up. So all land belongs to the government and is managed by the FCT minister. Now, this means that every land you see in Abuja here looks like, yes, FCDA is the highest and the safest in Abuja actually. So even if they tell you that the land is C of O, you have to be sure that it is FCDA C of O. Some people sell local government C of O. That's AMAC, right? So that I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go deep into that. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But be sure that the C of O you're buying is FCDA. It means that it is the federal government that issued that document and approved it. Because if it is not, what the FCDA C of O, all the FCDA means is that it aligns with the Abuja master plan. That means what they drafted in the master plan, let's say this place is supposed to be for residential purpose, and now you have a property there, and now the FCDA, document you have is FCDA approved. It means that this land you're buying, this property you're buying, whether it's a land or a house, this property you're buying is approved by the Federal Capital Development Authority in Abuja. All right, it means that it aligns with the Abuja master plan. So you need to be sure. Now, if you now want to check, the topic is what I actually check before I sell to my clients, right? Now, if I now want to check and be sure that this thing now is FCD and what they said it is, because sometimes they will give you, let's say, if they see because FCD is federal government and then AMAC is local government, they might give you, let's say, a letter that they gave to FCDA, like to approve their own. Maybe they call it, I've forgotten the name they call it again. I'll try to remember before the end of the video. Recertification, yes, recertification. So let's say they are trying to get an AMAC property to be FCDA and they are trying to apply for it. They will now go and show you local government own and then show you FCDA that is written on it. You will not know that that document is still something they are asking, is a request document, not an actual document. But because people don't know about it, you just say, oh, okay, it's FCDA approved. They will just go and buy. No, you have to be sure that it is FCDA, not local government. And you have to be sure that that document they are showing you, it is not like a letter of maybe recertification. They've not done it yet. they are trying to apply and they've not applied, they've not like given them the authority yet, and they're not going to tell you that that is what the document says, whereas it's not. It is still a process thing. So that's why whenever you hear all this document still in process in Abuja, better run. You have to be sure which document is in process. Don't assume everything that okay, they are working on it. Don't assume. You have to ask questions. So some of the things you check. Now, for you to confirm that it's FCD approved, you take it to Aegis, right? Aegis needs only two things from you: the cadastral zone number, and then the property location. Now, most times you will not find this thing on the FCD approved document. That's the official FCD approved document. But because these scammers in Abuja, they are not resting, like they are very active. So Abuja developers, some of them, because they want to be sure that their document is safe, they will not release that original document to you, right? You might just come to the office. They will tell you to come to the office and look at it. Now, this information that Aegis needs from you, you can also get it from the TDP, that's the technical deeds plan. Because here in Abuja, we don't do survey plan, actually. Survey plan that we use here is technical deeds plan, that's TDP, which is more detailed than the survey plan you're used to. Every other place in Nigeria uses survey plan. But what we use here is TDP, technical deeds plan. That one has the cadastral zone number. It has the land use, they'll detail it if it's mixed use or if it's commercial or residential use. Every detail is there. The beacon number is there. Everything is on the TDP. All the information that the Aegis needs from you is on that TDP. So if I check the cadastral zone number and then the property location, right? That's the plot number or the property location. I give it to Aegis. They can confirm if that property is authentic, that is if it is FCD approved. They can confirm if the property is probably let's say there's a court issue, there's a court case, or let's say they've probably used the that's where the lawyer comes in. That's why I ask people to get a lawyer. They're able to check if they've used that property to get they've used the property as a collateral, or the property has a little court case on it. These are some of the things you check out, because nobody wants to buy a property and buy a little issue. I don't think anybody wants that. People just want to buy their property, get their documents, and have their rest. Whenever they want to get to their property, they go there without anybody saying you're restricted from going, report to court. Nobody wants that drama. But how are you going to know about this drama if you just follow FCD approved and you buy? You need to make sure, you need to like get these details, and you cannot do that alone, right? That's why you need a lawyer. But I don't think you just go call a lawyer and say, go and check this document for me. I always advise, make sure you get a lawyer that is used to Abuja real estate. Abuja real estate is different. So if you get a lawyer that is not really used to Abuja real estate, they will do the, now surface search. They will not do in-depth search. They will handle it the way they handle where they are coming from. Not knowing that there are some little things that they are not really noticing that is actually there. So that's why it's important. I always advise, use a professional realtor and use a lawyer that is into the Abuja real estate market, so that you will not fall victim. So that it's not like the property, you're not going to buy a property that everything is good, but it has little court case. You start going to court. You've not even entered, you start going to court. I don't think it's a good thing to get into that kind of deal, right? So that's for the documents. I try to make sure that all of those things are checked, all of those little details are checked before my client dives into that kind of deal. Now, the next thing I also check, I'm trying to make sure that this live is not so long, because I'm sure that there are people who always like to come back and watch, because some of the things I'm saying you might want to go back again and watch. If there's anybody that you know that wants to buy real estate in Abuja here, you can as well send this live video to them so that they can read it. So that they can listen to it and then get the information that they need to get from it before they go and enter. I always say this, it's important that you are ready before you're actually prepared. Right? Yes. Just be ready. Be ready with the information in your head, or be prepared before you are ready. Yes, that's the word. Be prepared before you are ready. Right? Get the information. Know what this place is saying. It's just like when you want to get into the stock market. You don't just buy any stock. You study the stock, you check how it has been doing. Just like when you want to invest in a company, right? You don't just say, okay, because this company has been there for a very long time, I believe everything they say. No, you have to go and check their track record. You have to check their financial record. You have to check everything that has to do with them. So you're sure that the money you're putting in is not going into something that you don't even know how you're going to come back to you. So that's how real estate is. It's a lifetime. Most times, it's really a lifetime investment for a lot of people. So I don't know why people just do it casually. I don't know. Just like I always say, you want to buy, let's say you have someone that wants to do a fibroid surgery. You will not take them to a carpenter to knock it off of their body. No. You will take them to someone that is a specialist in that field. You're probably having electrical issues. You will not take it to someone that doesn't know anything about maybe someone that just have, let's say, little or no knowledge about it and give it to them. You will take it to someone that is in the field so they can fix the electrical problem, not burn your house down. The same way, when you want to invest in real estate, you don't take it to someone that and just today is doing real estate, and then, or the person that is just maybe your uncle in the village, and then just tell them and just find me one land. I want to speak Igbo, but it is a global market. Find me one land in Abuja, just find me something, and then they give you, and at the end of the day, start hearing stories. In fact, up to this evening, somebody was telling me about how they bought property from someone, and then they bought about 11 plots of this land. This was like a deal that was done like 8 to 10 months ago. And now the person that the family that has the land now came and said that their brother sold this land to him, and the brother has only 2 plots out of the 11 plots he sold. Can you imagine? So you can see. Well, Abuja is not like that, where one brother is selling to you. In fact, if you see any brother selling to you, any uncle or any chief or any Igwe selling to you in Abuja, just know it's a scam. Because here, all land belongs to the government. That's why you see a lot of estates in Abuja, because these people the genuine people are buying directly from the government and then selling to individuals. And that's why we have a lot of organized estates here in Abuja. You don't see like different houses scattered everywhere, right? So that is it for documents, right? The next thing I also make sure that I check before I allow my client buy a land is the payment plan policies. Now, see, there are other places where they can give you payment plan. They can say 3-month payment plan, and you don't even have any percentage at all. There are actually some places like that. But in Abuja, if you are going to extend time, there must, like a big must, except they are doing let's say there's a promotion going on, let's say a promo going on something, or let's say there's a discount that is currently going on. That's the only way you will not have all those extra percentage on the property, right? So I always check the payment plan policy, that my client is going to buy this property and hope at the end of these 3 months, if they don't pay probably within these 3 months, is there anything else that is going to happen? Is there there's a default fee? Is there anything? So that I can communicate it to my clients that if you don't pay within these 3 months, there's going to be an extra 5%, extra 500,000, extra 5 million. I will have to communicate this. But if I don't know this and it happens, it's going to be very surprising to my client, right? So I make sure that I check payment policies and the payment plans. Is there 3 months? Is there 6 months? Is there 24 months? Like, is there a mortgage plan? Because there are some people that they only like mortgage plans. So these are the things I confirm and be sure that, okay, this particular property that you want to buy has this option. You have an outright payment and you have this discount, because in Abuja, most of the outright payment has a discount. Actually, when you pay outrightly and you see this property, they can give you a discount. If you work with a good realtor, they will tell you that there's a discount. Some other people will not tell you. They'll just tell you, yeah, that's the payment, and then voila. But not every time. Most times, like I said. So you don't go and start fighting with your realtor that they did not give you discount. Depends on the company, right? But a lot of them give discounts when you do an outright payment. So yes, I try to make sure that all of this information I have it, so I'm able to communicate it to my clients, because some people like to do payment plan even if they have the money, complete money. They just feel like, why am I throwing all my money into this property instead of using it to do other things? So let me just pay within 3 months, pay within 6 months, pay within 1 year. But within that period of time, it's not going to be the same amount you paid for 3 months or 6 months that you pay for 1 year. If you're going to take time, you have to pay for it. Okay. So another thing is physical inspection, and make sure that the property I'm telling you about, I have gone there, I have seen it. I'm not telling you what is in my head. It's so funny that I have gone there and I've seen this property. I know that this property that I'm telling you about is something that aligns with what you want. Because if you're telling me I don't want to live in a street that, let's say you're saying I don't want to live in an area where there are a lot of people in the estates. And let's say I've not gone to the estate before. How am I supposed to know that there are not a lot of people in this estate if I've not gone there, right? So that's why on my own end, I go to the place, I see how it is. I'm like, okay, there's just like a client of mine that wanted to buy a property from me last month. That was November. He didn't like a place that is really crowded. And I was trying to inspect a property that I saw somewhere, and I was trying to like check everything, and then I'm like, okay, let me first inspect this property and see before I even start going into the documentation and all of that. And then I went there. While we're driving in, I just told the lady, don't worry, come back, come back. I said, no, let's go. Like, you like it. I said, don't worry. Because my client has told me what he wants. From everything he said, this does not look like what he wants. Even if the document is solid, this that I'm seeing here does not look like what he wants. And my client was so excited I was going for that inspection, and he was really waiting to hear because from the video that was sent to me when I asked for that brief, from the video, it looks very perfect. And my client was like, oh, he loves this. I'm like, oh, just chill, let me go and check then before we start getting to the documentation. And then the place itself was looking good, but the environment was not looking like what my clients wanted. So as soon as we got to like almost half of the estate, I'm like, nah, this does not look like what my clients want. And when I communicated with him, I'm like, okay, this is the estate. This does not look like what you want. The place is not a small estate like you want. It's a really big. It's not like big estates. So he said, nah, he doesn't want all of those crowd. Like everybody feels like he's living in this middle of a market. So that was how we did not go for that one at all. So that is the importance of physical inspection, to make sure that my client is able to like have even if they've not gone there, because I've gone there, at least they're able to have that trust that this thing I'm telling them is what it is, not just a random assumption, right? So the next thing is development timelines. Now, let's say every other thing I've said aligns with what my clients want. If the development timeline does not align with what my clients want, let's say my client wants to buy for investment. That means he's not buying to develop immediately. He just wants to buy and use for investment. I mean, I have to communicate to my client that if you don't develop this property, because in Abuja, in fact, it is one secret that has made Abuja boom so much. Because of this secret, it is a very quiet secret, but that is one of the secrets of Abuja's fast development. We have developers are giving, as soon as your building approval is out, developers are giving 2 to 3 years, usually 2 years, but 2 to 3 years time frame to build or develop a property. That means you buy a property from a developer and now the building approval is ready. That means within 2 to 3 years, that place must be developed. That's why you can come to Abuja and maybe you leave Abuja and then you're not here for like 2 years, and you come to the location like, oh my God, what's happening here? Like, I thought I was here, this was not here, this was not here. Is that development? Is that structure that is in place that is making it boom? That structure, 2 to 3 years development this thing timeline, right? Now, when my client buy in an estate that is a buy and build estate, and they've not started developing, and the building approval is out, I tell my client, this estate, the building approval is already out. So this means that if you want to do anything, you want to choose a plot in front, you have to start developing, because if you don't, they will not revoke the estate from you. It is the developer that doesn't develop that they will revoke it from. Okay? So this means that first of all, I have to make sure that this developer that is selling this property has a track record of making sure that the property, in fact, no developer wants to see their property revoked from them, because if they revoke it from you, that's another trouble. You're starting again. That means people you sold land to, they don't have land. That's what it means. So because of this, the developers they put in effort to make sure that they develop that property, the estate that they launched. And you now that bought from the estate, if you're not ready to build and you don't know about this development timeline, they'll take you to the back. Why? Because these people will come, development control will come to the estate to check that you started building, to check that the timeline that they gave to you, you are following through, you're not doing what you like. If they come and your own plot is in front and there are bushes around, they can revoke that property. So what the developer will do is they will take you to the back so that people that want to build will stay in front. And so that when the development control people come, they don't revoke the property for the sake of every single person that's bought in that estate. So that is why it's important to check this development timeline. So if you're buying, that's why it's important when you want to buy a property. Be sure that if it's a property you want to build immediately, you buy and build. If you want to leave it for a period of time, you don't want anybody to pressure you, you buy in a place that's maybe within 3 or 4 years it should be developed. But in Abuja, if you go and buy properties that maybe are like less than 13 million or less than 10 million naira, that's the kind of properties that you can live within those period of time. But properties that are, I mean, if you look at, anyway, most places in Abuja are quite pricey. So it's not really about the price. You just need to like follow through on what the rules of that particular this thing says. You have to be sure that development timeline aligns, right? I mean, when you go to the estate or when you speak to developer, you hear their plans, because most developers, before they start developing, they have plans of what they want to do. You now know if it's buy and build, okay? So that way, I'm able to know that this thing aligns with what my clients want, and I can then tell them to proceed and buy the property. So you can use this same thing for yourself. You can use the same, you can, like everything I just said, you can on your own, like fact check all these things, like be sure that, okay, all this thing, check. There is nothing you're missing out, right? So this is what I always check to make sure that my client doesn't get into any trouble whenever they are buying property in Abuja. So you know, Abuja is one place that there is just so much money to be made in the real estate sector. In fact, people have not scratched it. Do you know why? There are just a few persons that understand this market, and they are milking it so much. They are milking the living daylight out of the Abuja real estate market. That's why things are expensive here. Because the demand is, there's a lot of demand, but the supply is very little. The supply is little. And in different sectors, you know, inside the real estate sector, there are different niches in the real estate sector. We have rentals, we have apartments, we have buy and build. Like, there are different things. There are people that just buy, build and sell. There are people that buy apartments, that build apartments and rent it out. There are people that build apartments, sell the apartments. There are people that buy apartments, furnish it, and then start getting cash flow from it. So there are different sectors in this real estate. So in all these sectors, people are just pouring themselves into let us just buy all this, buy and just buy. They don't even understand it. Like, they don't know how to benefit from it. They don't know how their income can align with it and how they can go about it. They think they need to have all the money to do it without even understanding it first. Just you understand the market, understand how your own money comes in, and then speak to a professional realtor to explain to you how you can start benefiting from the Abuja real estate market. If you've ever wondered why this Abuja cost of living on its own is so expensive, it is because demand is high and the supply is low. That is why. Demand is high and supply is low. That means there are few people that understand the market, and they are milking everything out of it. And then you that doesn't understand it, because you've probably been scammed once or twice. I just hope it's only once. I don't want to hear twice. You've probably been scammed, or you've heard someone that's been scammed. You're like, everybody's a scammer, all of that. Please don't say it's just like giving love a chance, right? If your heart has been broken before, you will not say because your heart has been broken, that's why you will not give love a chance again, right? You give it a chance again. So that is how it is here. Give investment a chance, but this time around, try it with knowledge. You need to understand it, and you cannot understand it by just scavenging and just, okay, whatever, this one is popular. No, speak to a professional. get into a conversation with a professional, get into a call with them, go online, they are teaching something like this. Probably when you're driving in the morning to work, when you're probably having weekend, or maybe you're just busy, you could just listen to a live session like this. Because the time the opportunity would come out, how are you going to know that it is even for you when you're not prepared for it in the first place? Let's say like the cash flow market in Abuja, if you've not educated yourself about on the cash flow part of real estate in Abuja, when the opportunity for cash flow comes up, how are you going to know you should take up on that opportunity? You would not know. So it's so important that you get this knowledge, you understand it, and you don't make mistakes while at it. Okay, I hope this video answered some of the questions you've had on why probably somebody was scammed. I'm sure that if you've heard about someone that was scammed around you, from this video you would know where the person got it wrong. If it's from the documentation, if it's from inspection, or if it's from the land use, or if it's from the payment plan, you would know, because each of these parts are very important. They are so important that if you neglect one, it would affect the other one and affect the entire deal. So make sure that you don't neglect any of these things. And if there's any further clarification you need to know about how to navigate the entire Abuja real estate market, please feel free to call me on my number. If you go to my bio, there is a link on my bio and it takes you directly to my WhatsApp. There you can chat me up. Or better still, you could go to any of my videos and there is a phone number on the right hand side of the screen. You could screenshot it and then give me a call and let's book a conversation. Let's book a consultation session so that whatever question it is you have, I can just answer it. And I hope that would help you make informed real estate decision. So that we've come to the end of today's class. I hope you got value from watching this video. Thank you for giving me your time, and I hope it was worth it for you. So make sure you send this video to anybody who wants to invest in the Abuja real estate market, or who is trying to navigate the Abuja real estate market, or who has been scammed before and is trying to give real estate a chance again, or send to a family member who is abroad and wants to invest in Nigeria so that they understand how it works. Because the truth is, nobody tells people when they want to buy properties. Nobody tells anybody. They just go ahead and buy. So that family member that is abroad, send it to them. In case you want to buy property in Nigeria, listen to this so that you don't make mistakes, okay? So thank you so much. And thank you each and every one of you for joining my live session. I'm so grateful and so glad to have each and every one of you here. Thank you. Thank you, Zealand. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you, my sugar, Madam Landlady. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, CB. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Nelly. I don't know if it's Nelly. Thank you, Jordan Rashid. Thank you so much for joining my live session. I hope you enjoy an amazing weekend and have a great week next week. Bye.